Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social and Association with Empire Fight Store and Forged Irish Stout. Always a pleasure. Mr. Jamie Moore, we're here in Dublin Thursday. We've had the press conference, a workout yesterday. Been a minute, my friend. How are we?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Always lovely to speak to you. No, we're all good. We've got the old Zoom on the lens. I suppose just before we go into this week, been a busy year for you, a very successful year for you, actually. You must be really happy with how everything's going.
Yeah, mate. Can't complain. We've had a good year. Good, all the fighters, vast majority have been successes. Only a few little setbacks, but they're all lessons along the way for everyone. So yeah, it's been good.
I suppose just firstly, you talk about setbacks. Aqib Fiaz was one who faced one recently in his last fight. Where is he at? I know, speaking to him afterwards, he was sort of quite down and everything, but it's obviously going to be difficult. What's the plan now for the sort of redemption?
Yeah, he's all right. He was licking his wounds for a few days afterwards, but we had a good few conversations. He's been away with his missus and his family, been to Dubai, had a bit of a break, and he's been back in the gym now and sort of same thing, sort of taking the lessons on board, evaluating it, seeing what he could have done better, seeing what he did good, and just making sure to take the lessons on board so he can fix it in the future.
Well, Jamie, before we sort of recap on a year as a whole, we've got to talk about this Saturday night. Chantelle Cameron looks to do what she did last time out against Katie Taylor here in Dublin again, the same arena, just 5 months later. Firstly, I think credit where credit's due. We know that Chantelle's never really loved the media and sort of doing things like that. I've always done it with the two of you together, and she's been honest and sort of admitted she finds that maybe a little bit more comfortable. This week it's like a completely different side of her. I can't actually believe it. In the media, she's great. Listened to her last night on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. She won it last time round, but this time there's like a different aura around her. Why is that?
I think combination of things really. I think because, well, for the start, when you have a full training camp where there's not, there's virtually nothing's gone wrong in terms of injuries, setbacks, illnesses, sparring's gone well, so you have that sort of confidence in your training camp. So that's been done. She's got the confidence from the fact that she's been here and sort of walked this path before. So she was a bit apprehensive last time, not really knowing what to expect when she got over here and stuff like that. But she's done it. She's sort of experienced it now. So she hasn't got anything to sort of surprise her in a way. And then just added to that, then she's getting more experience now. She's sort of a lot more comfortable doing interviews and things like that. And we have had to hold her hand with it and sort of help her along the way and stuff like that. But I think it's worked really well because I think when she's doing interviews and stuff like that, she comes across a lot more natural. She's smiling and laughing. A real true personality comes across, which is more likeable and people can engage her more and sort of they sort of see the real person and they seem to back her more and get behind her. So I know she's the favourite going into this fight again, but her mentality is like a challenger. She feels like she's still got a point to prove because she doesn't hear the ones what say Chantelle's going to beat her again because she beat her last time. She hears the fewer people that were going. Katie had an off night last time, or Katie and a coach saying, the training camp didn't go great last time. She only hears them ones. She only hears the negative stuff and goes, well, I'm going to prove them wrong. And I just think it's a fantastic mindset to have.
What is the sort of plan this time round, without sort of going too much into it, of course? From speaking to Chantelle, she mentioned that she feels fitter, she feels stronger going into this fight. Katie Taylor's certainly promising a stronger version of herself, but almost picking it up as if it's the 11th round, do you expect?
Well, I hope so, in many ways, because the way the last fight panned out was suited Chantelle to a T. But the big thing for this one has been she's got to be adaptive. I've said so, you've got to be like a hybrid. Whatever comes across, in front of you in the fight, you just got to adapt and deal with it. So I've no doubt Katie's going to come differently and do something different because what she did last time didn't work. So she has to do that. And but I've just made sure that whatever scenario unfolds in front of Chantelle, she's adaptable and she's capable of doing that. We've seen her fight in lots of different styles over the years. It's just a favourite way to fight is to apply that pressure and let her hands go. So and I've no doubt eventually it will get to that stage, even if Katie comes out way different and the first 2 or 3 rounds are different. But I think ultimately they'll both fall back to what they are by nature as fighters, and I feel that'll be Katie trying to sort of outbox Chantelle and Chantelle walking her down.
Chantelle's hinted at a potential stoppage. I know that that's sort of just speculation and in part and parcel of sort of feeling stronger going into.
She has. Okay. I mean, I heard Eddie say it today, and afterwards, me and Chantelle was talking and laughing, going, "What?" Eddie just said, you've hinted at getting a stoppage. No one's ever said that. I think people are just putting words in her mouth, and maybe that's other people speaking about it and going, I think she might stop her this time. But I've never once heard Chantelle say that. And in fact, she's the opposite. She's saying, I don't really care how I win, as long as I do my job and get on with it. But I've never heard her say that.
All right, well, on that topic then, last time it was a majority decision win. One judge did have it a draw. Are you at all concerned going into this fight with the judging?
Well, you've mentioned it yourself. I mean, if you're asking a question, then obviously it's a topic of conversation, because in my eyes there was no way the fight was anywhere near close to a draw last time. So if one judge last time can give it a draw in a fight like that, then if it's a little bit closer, then of course it's a concern. That's my only concern, to be honest. If Katie Taylor comes out and Chantelle doesn't perform to her best and comes out and wins the fight outright, fair and square, I'll have no complaints whatsoever. But listen, let's not talk about it from a personal point of view as well. Let's just talk about it in general. The last thing we need on a night where the spotlight is on boxing in a massive way, and women's boxing in particular is on the incline and is going to fantastic places. The last thing we want is a controversial decision. It happened 12 months ago or whatever, 18 months ago, and it leaves a horrible taste in your mouth, and everyone just goes on about it, and it drives me nuts. And I don't want to. No one wants to be talking about the scorecards or the judges. Everyone wants to be talking about what a great fights are. So that is my only concern, is that the judges aren't fair. But it's out of my hands. I can't worry about it. I've not focused on it. But like you say, you've brought it up now, and it is a concern. But it can't be in your mind on the night. You just got to focus on what you've got to do.
I suppose, unfortunately, just one of them things that if it comes around, you just have to deal with it. That's the sport we work in, which is weird, right? That's sort of almost accepted.
That's what I'm saying to you. I don't want those situations to occur, because no one likes it. No one wants the sport being brought into a bad light. We want it to be fair and square, run fair and square. We spoke about the judging, how you can utilise the point system differently, and surely that's got to be something in the future what changes, because why do you have 10 points if you're not going to utilise them? It's always 10-9. If it's a big round, why is it not 10-2 or 8-2? It just doesn't make sense. But listen, hopefully we're not talking about the judges' scorecards. We're talking about a fantastic fight for boxing in general, but specifically for women's boxing, and they both come out covered in glory.
She has a bit of a chip on her shoulder in the fact that she didn't really want this fight in Dublin, and that's not anything against Chantelle in saying that. Like, she was always content in coming here, but she felt that after the performance she put in last time, it was almost like she was able to dictate how things should have gone. That's not been the case. She sort of said it's all on Katie Taylor's terms. I mean, it's here in Dublin, the same venue, etc. You get that mind. Does that give her an extra sort of edge going into it? But also knowing that Eddie spoke at the press conference today, he said, I've just spoke with BBC Northampton and everything. It almost feels like this is the one to get that homecoming. You agree?
Yeah, listen, I'm hoping that will happen. That the case will be she wins this fight and then she gets her homecoming. She deserves it. But she was early discussions. She was a bit aggrieved that there wasn't even a conversation about where it was going to be. We was just told it's going to be in Dublin, and that's it. But it is what it is. I mean, we're here now. If we was going to have a problem with it, the conversation, and we did have a problem with it early on. Then those conversations happened 10 weeks ago. It was all done and dusted. We was told under no certain terms it was going to be in Dublin. It was in the contract initially from the last fight that it was to Matchroom's discretion. Matchroom decided they wanted it in Dublin. So, you know, the way Chantelle views that is not that they wanted it in Dublin for Katie, but that they didn't want it in Northampton for Chantelle. So and that fuels her. So I'm glad they done it in a way, because I've never seen anybody who's won a fight going into a rematch who's got so much determination to prove other people wrong, which is a strange mindset to have under these circumstances. But that's what she's got.
Well, let's talk about the rest of the gym. Jack Catterall with a victorious performance against Jorge Linares last time out. I think everyone was like, not critical, because I think Jack himself was happy with the performance and stuff like that, but I think he admitted like there probably was an extra gear that could have got out of him, and I'm sure we'll see that moving forward. Eddie said to me an approach has sort of initial talks have been made regarding that Josh Taylor fight. I'm always asking Sam for a little update, but still all up in the air, I believe. You would like that fight next for your man. We know that there's some great fights out there over in the States and stuff, but that's sort of the one for the fans, right?
Listen, if it's not a world title fight, then obviously Jack and Josh is the next biggest fight for Jack, because everyone wants to see it. So I mean, my first choice will always be for the world title. I know Progray's fighting Hayner, so that's out of the question, you know, in the short term. So and there's no other sort of viable options in terms of a world title fight for him. So you know, everyone wants to see that fight because of the history of them both. So yeah, if that's what's next, then yeah, so be it.
And then just on the rest of the gym as a whole, I'm very cautious of missing people out, but Cameron Vuong is one that I cannot miss. I believe he's coming in, and I'm sure me and him will be causing carnage one night. I know he won't be on the booze, but I certainly will be. He's back out next week in Belfast. What a boy. I mean, he's just brilliant. He came in and it was all a little bit, not intimidating, but basically went straight out to Dubai with everyone, and so he's fit in really well. I know he gets on tremendously well with Jack. Enjoying having him around and enjoying how things are flourishing for him.
Yeah, do you know what? It all came out of the blue. So I'd sort of said, we're massively busy in the gym. So, you know, we've got a gym full of great fighters, really good people. And I didn't want to sort of overkill it. And Sam was asking me, saying that, you know, he really wants to come and train with us. So he came down, I had a chat with him. He's a lovely kid, absolutely up the wall, full of energy, and he can really fight. And he sparred with Jack, he sparred with Aqib, and he sort of held his own with them both. And I was like, this kid's decent, and he slotted in really well. Like you say, we went to Dubai, we had a training camp over there. So when you're living with someone in the same surroundings, you know, if someone comes to the gym for the first 6 weeks, you'll only see him for an hour a day, so it's not that much time. Whereas when you're living with someone 24/7, you sort of got to know each other a lot quicker. And yeah, he's a really good kid, and he can really fight. And they're keeping him busy as well, keeping him active.
Well, that they are. Another fight next week to wrap up the end of the year, and on a huge card as well. Great exposure for him. Just on the world of boxing as a whole, quickly, don't want to keep you here all night long, although I probably could pick your brains all night long, Jamie. Anthony Joshua link up with Ben Davison. What do you make of it?
Well, I seen Eddie mention it before. I seen him talking in an interview, and he was talking about the time difference, and you know, from there was only say 6 weeks or whatever from that point in time for AJ to have to go back to America, to change the time zones, to then come all the way back over to Saudi, which is a massive time difference, was too much on his body clock in terms of him being able to make sure he can perform to the best of his ability. So I get it. I understand that he's had to sort of choose to stay at home and pick a coach at home, and he's picked Ben Davison, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see why, if he's got pre-history with the Walling situation, and obviously he's in the same area down in London, and he's got a good resume as a coach as well. So it made sense really.
And just finally, Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. The fight has been announced. There are a lot of people saying It's weird boxing, isn't it? Because I suppose they're saying you're only as good as your last fight's true. Everyone thought after Usyk Dubois, everyone said Fury batters Usyk, and then after Fury and Ngannou, everyone said Usyk batters Fury. Fury still goes in as the betting favourite. What did you make of, I suppose, firstly, Tyson's hurling of insults at Usyk at the press conference? It was quite intense.
Yeah, well, it was Fury being Fury, wasn't it? You know, that's what he does. He tries to get into someone's head, and he plays mind games all the way through the fight build-up, and that's part and parcel of his makeup and his, you know, it's not his actual boxing style in terms of on the night he's fighting in the ring, but it's what he does to gain that advantage on fighters. I don't know whether it'll work with Usyk because he seems quite strong-minded. He seems like water off a duck's back. So you know, everyone's always using cliches and stuff, and you just said yourself there, you know, you're only as good as your last fight. But there's another one which is a good big and always beats a good little one, and you know, which one of those cliches is going to come true? Who knows? Because let's be honest, Fury didn't look great last time. Was that because Ngannou was much better than people give him credit for, or is it the point where Fury's maybe been inactive and he's on maybe a little bit on the decline, or he didn't take it as seriously as he should have? Maybe it's the worst scenario for Usyk, because now it might really make Fury switch on and train properly, and make sure that he doesn't sort of take him lightly. So there's loads of scenarios. I think it's made the fight more intriguing. So the fact that he's a boxed Ngannou in what everyone thought would be light work and made it more difficult has made it more intriguing for the undisputed fight. And now everyone's sort of going, I don't really know who's going to win now. Whereas before, I think of the vast majority of people was going, I think Fury will win.
Could I push you for a prediction on that one?
I think Fury will win, but it isn't with certainty anymore. I was always sort of going, they're very similar, but Tyson's way bigger, and I think he'll sort of. I thought he'd just get his natural size would make the difference. Whereas now, I'm sort of going, is he sort of on the slide a little bit? I'm questioning it now, and is Usyk going to be a little bit too crafty for him? So it's made it more intriguing for me. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of boxing anymore because I'm not boxing that much. Yeah. But it's made it where I'll definitely be buying now. I'm watching it now.
Well, Jamie, thank you for speaking to us at Boxing Social. Always a pleasure. Near enough 20 minutes banked. I don't really know how. I suppose I'm a chatterbox, and maybe you are as well. Hey, exactly that. Final message ahead of Saturday night. Chantelle Cameron looks to do it again in Dublin.
Yep. For me, Chantelle's a lot better this time than she was last time, and I think Katie's going to be a lot better, but I can't see anything other than a Chantelle victory.
Jamie Moore, top man, thank you for speaking to us at Boxing Social.